Want to speak real Bulgarian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at BulgarianPod101.com.
Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome to a new episode of BulgarianPod101.com. I'm your host Daria, and today I'm going to walk you through 10 phrases you always want to hear. So, are you ready to start complimenting other people? Let's go!
Изглеждаш страхотно днес. Изглеждаш страхотно днес. You look great today.
Now, it's something that I would like to point your attention on. It's the word strahotno, which is literally translated as scary, by the way, because it derives from the word strashno, which is scary. So Bulgarians use it in a way of saying great, but it's funny how it sounds when you think about it. You look scary today. And it sounds such a normal thing to say in Bulgarian, by the way. So use it everywhere you go. You look wonderful today. You look great today. Изглеждаш страхотно днес.
Липсваш ми. Липсваш ми. I miss you.
Yes, this is something either say too rarely or we do say excessively. I do encourage everybody to find a balance in it, and this comes from meaning it from your heart. I am gonna miss you until the next episode. Ще ми липсвате.
Свърши чудесна работа. Свърши чудесна работа. You did a great job.
Yes, I do believe that if somebody hears this phrase more often, they're not only gonna be flattered, but they will improve their work overall. Свърши чудесна работа.
Ще има бонус в края на месеца. Ще има бонус в края на месеца. There'll be a bonus at the end of the month.
Is definitely what everybody would like to hear if they have done a good job. Even if they have not done a good job, it will make them do a better job. Because imagine if you're doing something for many years and you don't receive any kind of appreciation for that. Not even a single small thing. So the bonus is definitely something you should use to make somebody do better work.
Ти готвиш превъзходно. Ти готвиш превъзходно. You're an excellent cook.
Yes, everybody would like to hear that, even though sometimes you may burn the dish, but your friends are there to support you, so they may be saying, oh, as if they're mocking you. Ти си превъзходен готвач. Ти готвиш превъзходно. You are an exceptional cook. Well, the more you burn dishes, I know, the better you become as a cook, so please never stop cooking.
Почини си. Аз ще почистя днес. Почини си. Аз ще почистя днес. Take a break. I'll do the cleaning today.
Opens the heart and the doors to every mother's heart. Guaranteed, proof read and checked and all that.
И вие печелите. И вие печелите. And you win.
I specifically think that if you invest the money you spend on scratch tickets into something else, you are on the winning side of spending your money. For sure.
Ти беше прав. Ти беше прав. You were right.
Why is it so hard to admit something like that? I don't know. Maybe because Bulgarian people, they think they know everything about everything. From science to sport to politics to anything. So please say it even though people are not right.
Нося ти нещо специално. Нося ти нещо специално. I brought you something special.
It is very intriguing and exciting to hear something like that, isn't it? Unless this special something is a cat. And there you can bid farewell to your living room couch.
Бюджетът е неограничен. Бюджетът е неограничен. The budget is unlimited.
Can you imagine a world where there is no money or there is a budget but it's unlimited? What are the things that everybody can do? Everybody can accomplish their dreams no matter how far-fetched are they. You can even go to the end of the universe if there is such. So, unlimited budget, unlimited dreams. Make it happen. I am leaving you for now because we have come to the end of this episode of BulgarianPod101.com. However, I'm looking forward to our next episode. Until then, please let me know which of these 10 phrases you always want to hear you like the best, or is there anything you would like to hear personally so I can translate it for you? Add it in the comment section below this video, and also find where the red button is. Somewhere over here. I forgot where it is. It's a red button that says subscribe. Subscribe for this channel to get more videos like this, and we're going to see each other again in the next linguistic adventure. Until then, check the website BulgarianPod101.com for more lessons in Bulgarian. I'm your host Daria, and I'll see you very soon.
How are your Bulgarian listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Мъж и жена разглеждат меню в ресторант. Какво ще поръча мъжът?
Какво ще си поръчаш?
Пицата изглежда вкусно. Мисля, че ще мина с нея.
Аз ядох пица вчера, така че...
Добре тогава. Какво ще кажеш за хамбургер?
Звучи добре. Ще го взема.
Какво ще поръча мъжът? Мъж и жена разглеждат меню в ресторант. Какво ще поръча мъжът?
Какво ще си поръчаш?
Пицата изглежда вкусно. Мисля, че ще мина с нея.
Аз ядох пица вчера, така че...
Добре тогава. Какво ще кажеш за хамбургер?
Звучи добре. Ще го взема.
How are your Bulgarian listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Мъж се обажда на лекарски кабинет. По кое време той трябва да е в лекарския кабинет? Добър ден! С какво мога да ви помогна?
Кога приключвате работното време днес?
Затваряме в 6 часа, но моля, елате преди 5:30.
Добре, благодаря.
По кое време той трябва да е в лекарския кабинет? Мъж се обажда на лекарски кабинет. По кое време той трябва да е в лекарския кабинет? Добър ден! С какво мога да ви помогна?
Кога приключвате работното време днес?
Затваряме в 6 часа, но моля, елате преди 5:30.
Добре, благодаря.
Една жена обядва в ресторант. Какво ще си поръча тя?
Желаете ли кафе или десерт след основното ядене?
Какъв десерт предлагате?
Имаме пудинг и ябълков пай.
Всъщност искам само кафе, моля.
Желаете ли захар и мляко?
Донесете го с мляко, моля. Какво ще си поръча тя? Една жена обядва в ресторант. Какво ще си поръча тя?
Желаете ли кафе или десерт след основното ядене?
Какъв десерт предлагате?
Имаме пудинг и ябълков пай.
Всъщност искам само кафе, моля.
Желаете ли захар и мляко?
Донесете го с мляко, моля. Мъж и жена разговарят. Какво е закусвала жената тази сутрин? Гладна съм.
Закусвала ли си?
Да, но взех само нещо малко.
Какво яде?
Кисело мляко и кафе.
Това е твърде малко. Трябва да вземеш малко хляб и някакъв плод също.
Какво е закусвала жената тази сутрин? Мъж и жена разговарят. Какво е закусвала жената тази сутрин? Гладна съм.
Закусвала ли си?
Да, но взех само нещо малко.
Какво яде?
Кисело мляко и кафе.
Това е твърде малко. Трябва да вземеш малко хляб и някакъв плод също.
How are your Bulgarian listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
Мъж и жена разговарят. На колко години е мъжът сега? Вашият рожден ден е съвсем скоро.
Да, пада се в други ден.
На колко години ще станете?
Ще навърша 60 години.
Поздравления! Нека да го отпразнуваме.
Благодаря много. Ще съм признателен.
На колко години е мъжът сега? Мъж и жена разговарят. На колко години е мъжът сега? Вашият рожден ден е съвсем скоро.
Да, пада се в други ден.
На колко години ще станете?
Ще навърша 60 години.
Поздравления! Нека да го отпразнуваме.
Благодаря много. Ще съм признателен.
In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in Bulgarian, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the informal way to say it. Говориш ли английски? Говориш ли английски? In Bulgarian, verbs change depending on the formality and also depending on the subject. This word is the informal form of the verb говоря, which means to speak, and it is conjugated for the second person singular. The next word is the particle li, which is used in many Bulgarian questions. Just remember that it means something like weather. And you probably recognize английски to be English. Говорите ли английски? To learn how to properly conjugate verbs like говоря, please look at our Absolute Beginner series on BulgarianPod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. We are now going to make this sentence formal. First, we need to use the formal version of speak, which is говорите. Everything else stays the same. Говорите ли английски? Говорите ли английски? Adding извинете, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Извинете, говорите ли английски? Извинете, говорите ли английски? The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Да, yes. Да. Малко, a little. Малко. Не говоря английски. No, I don't speak English. Не говоря английски. Since the last one is a negative statement, we need to say не before the verb говоря and не in the beginning of the whole sentence. Notice also that the verb говоря is slightly different than говорите. Remember, the verb changes depending on the formality and the subject. We are now talking about us, Bulgarian for I. Thus, I do not speak is аз не говоря. Now it's time for Eva's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any language you need. Bulgarian people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute английски with русски for Russian, немски for German, итальянски for Italian, испански for Spanish. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression извинете. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Bulgarian. It's never too late to show your good manners with Bulgarian people. In the last lesson, we learned the phrase извинете, говорите ли английски? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word извинете, which means excuse me in formal Bulgarian. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use извинете and other words when apologizing in Bulgarian. We should use извинете in formal situations, such as when we are ordering something in bars or restaurants. For example, извинете, едно кафе моля. Excuse me, a coffee please. We can also use it when asking a question. Извинете, къде се намира храм Александър Невски? Excuse me, where is the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral? Sometimes we also hear people say, ако обичате, which means the same thing when you want to draw someone's attention. We only use this phrase in formal speech. Ако обичате. The informal way to say excuse me is извинявай. Извинявай. Just like извинете, we can use извинявай when asking a question or when apologizing. We can also use the word прощавай. Прощавай. You might hear this phrase translated as forgive me in English, but it's not formal or strong at all. Bulgarian people use it in very casual situations. Its formal version in second person plural is прощавайте. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is съжалявам. It means I'm sorry and can be used in both formal and informal situations. съжалявам. This verb is in the first person singular form, so it basically means I'm sorry. You can use this expression anytime you wish to apologize. Now it's time for Eva's insights. Please remember that in Bulgaria, if you accidentally bump into someone, we don't say I'm sorry, съжалявам. Instead we say извинете, excuse me, or прощавайте, forgive me. Are you able to count in Bulgarian?
Want to speak real Bulgarian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at BulgarianPod101.com.
Okay, hi everyone! How are you today? I'm your host Daria, and this is an episode of BulgarianPod101.com. Maybe one of the most important episodes because it gives you the top 25 Bulgarian phrases that they are. I mean, these are key phrases that you need to start a conversation, to introduce yourself, to say the basic phrases of every language. So if you want to be 25 Bulgarian phrases ahead of the rest of the people who don't know those, grab a pen and a notebook and let's start.
Zdravey. Zdravey. Hello.
How to start? How should we start? I think there's no better way to start but to say Zdravey. Zdravey. Hello. Well, hello everyone. Zdravey is like an informal way to say it. You can say Здравейте, the formal one. Also plural, yeah. You can say Здравейте to multiple people. And also if you hear that some Bulgarian people say Zdrasti, Zdrasti, this is the short version of hello. Just hi.
Добро утро. Добро утро. Good morning.
How do you usually start the day? If you see somebody, you would greet them with Добро утро. Добро утро. Good morning. This phrase I love a lot because of the vibration of it. Добро утро. Practice your R's in this phrase. Also, I like to use it because we're one step ahead of our southern neighbors, the Greek people, who don't even have a phrase for good morning. They just start from Kalimera, which is the day. I don't know why nobody celebrates the morning over there. We do.
Добър ден. Добър ден. Good afternoon.
Moving on later in the day. Добър ден. Добър ден. Good afternoon. Now, here's the tricky part because it may be 10 a.m. in the morning, but you can hear a Bulgarian saying добър ден, which literally is good afternoon, but we use it more as good day to you. So remember it, добър ден.
Лека nosht. Leka nosht. Good night.
When you go to bed, you would hear a Bulgarian person wishing you Leka nosht. Leka nosht. This is good night. Good night, good night. I remember a song from my childhood. There was a television show just before the little kids would go to bed. And the show was called Leka nosht deca. Good night, children. Deca. And it was about a character named Suncho. Suncho, which is like a sleepy boy. Anyway, memories from my childhood. Moving on.
Как се казваш? Как се казваш? What's your name?
Now that you've learned how to greet people according to the part of the day your encounter is happening, how to properly introduce yourself? You can ask them for their name. Как се казваш? Как се казваш? This is pretty much asking what's your name. You can also make it plural or formal by saying те at the end. Как се казва те? What is your name? Formal. And how do we reply to that?
Аз съм Майя. Аз съм Майя. I'm Maya.
Аз съм Дария. Аз съм Дария. Аз съм Дария. This is a way of saying I am Daria. And what do we usually add after that, after we introduce our name?
Приятно ми е да се запознаем. Приятно ми е да се запознаем. Nice to meet you.
Usually after we say our name, we would add Приятно ми е да се запознаем. Right? It's very simple. Приятно ми е да се запознаем. Nice to meet you. Now, you can just use the first part of this phrase, which is Приятно ми е. It's nice. That's pretty much enough for Bulgarian. But if you want to sound more like a true Bulgarian, you gotta say Приятно ми е да се запознаем.
Как си? Как си? How are you?
Как си? Как си? How are you? This is a classic question you can ask anybody, and it's a door opener, by the way. I've heard it use it quite a lot in the US or other countries. However, please, I beg of you, when you ask как си, really show interest and really mean it. Как си?
Благодаря, добре. А ти? Благодаря, добре. А ти? I'm fine, thanks. And you?
And usually there is the answer. Благодаря, добре. А ти? Благодаря, добре. А ти? Literally, I'm fine, thank you. And how about you? Благодаря, добре. Благодаря, добре. А ти? I'm fine, thanks. And you? Literally, благодаря is thank you, добре is good. Thank you, good. А ти and you. You can juggle with that, or you can say how you really feel. You may be moody, you may be happy, you may be anxious. So you can add whatever you like in that little phrase. Благодаря, добре. Благодаря, не добре.
Molya. Molya. Please.
Molya. Molya. It's a very important word because it shows politeness. It shows good intention. This is the Bulgarian word for please. Please. Also, molya means I beg you, I beg of you. But you can also add it to any sentence if you would like to request something. And we'll see later on how to use molya.
Благодаря. Благодаря. Thank you.
The next word is a very important one because it shows gratitude. Благодаря. Blagodarya. One word. It means thank you. But the root of the word is blago, which is the best things or the nice things. Darya, I'm gifting them to you. Like nice things I'm giving. So you can say Blagodarya. But also for people who don't feel confident in saying this long word in Bulgarian, it's fine for you to use the French merci, because we've stolen that one in our language.
Пак заповядай. Пак заповядай. You're welcome.
And usually if you say Благодаря, you can say right afterwards, Пак заповядай. Пак заповядай. You are welcome. And you have the nicest of nicest things in your relationship with the person you have just met. Nice base to work on from then on.
Да. Yes.
Here are the two most important words to reply a yes and no question, which are the words yes and no. Da in Bulgarian means yes.
Не. No.
Ne in Bulgarian means no. But don't confuse it with the type of nodding, because all over the world, this means da and this means ne. But only in Bulgaria, it's vice versa. So this would mean no, and this would mean yes. Not ne, da. Why? I can't even tell you. I can't. Some psychology thing, sociology, I don't know.
Добре. Okay.
Remember the phrase that we've used before? Благодаря, добре. Replying to how are you feeling today? Good, thank you. Good. This is the word dobre. Dobre. This means okay in Bulgarian, and it's okay to use it as much as possible, just because of the good vibration of it. Dobre, dobre.
Извинете. Извинете. Excuse me.
Another of the top 25 Bulgarian phrases that everybody should know is izvinete. Izvinete. Excuse me. Yes, people should learn how to use this word as much as possible because, first of all, Bulgarian people rarely use it. Why? If they step on your foot or they push you or punch you, do something horrible to you, they would say, Opa. They may even crush your car and they will say, Opa, which literally is oops. They would not say, excuse me, I apologize, and they would just go away. Yeah, because we are such people. But really, a lot of people say opa. Opa, which is, I think it's a Greek word as well. Opa. Opa! Opa, hey. Okay.
Съжалявам. Съжалявам. I'm sorry.
Another good word to use is съжалявам. Съжалявам. Now, this means I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, but a lot of people find difficulty pronouncing the... Now I'm having difficulty speaking. Pronouncing the in the beginning, because we have this sound. The Brazilian people would understand perfectly what I'm talking about because they have this sound. But if you don't, stress on съжалявам. Съжалявам. It actually makes your body feel good after you say it. So I'm sorry. Use it as much as you can.
Колко е часът? Колко е часът? What time is it?
So you're walking the streets of Sofia or Plovdiv, and you have a meeting with a local person to show you around. You've agreed to meet at 2 o'clock somewhere, but you don't have a watch. The battery on your phone is dead, so there is no way for you to know is it 2 o'clock already or not. Here is a way to ask for it. Колко е часът? Колко е часът? What's the time? Usually, as an answer, you would get just a number. 2, 2, 2 часа, 3 часа, 4, and it's useful if you know the Bulgarian numbers.
Къде е тоалетната? Къде е тоалетната? Where is the restroom?
Another very useful phrase, which is definitely among the top 25 Bulgarian phrases you should know, is this one. Къде е тоалетната? Къде е тоалетната? The double O. Okay, where is the restroom? I don't know why I feel saying that learning this will open a lot of doors for you. Hopefully it will open a lot of doors for you and you don't have to wait in front of the restroom. But in Bulgaria, there are a lot of public restrooms around, or you can use any cafe or restaurant for this. And literally, you can just say toilet and they'll understand you because toilet, toaletna. Very similar.
Изчакайте за момент. Изчакайте за момент. Wait a moment.
Here's another phrase. If you hear somebody say изчакайте за момент, изчакайте за момент. They usually mean wait a moment. I hope you don't hear this in front of the restroom door, but in case that happens, you know that you have to wait. Hey, sometimes in life you have to wait for the good things to come and to happen to you.
Колко струва това? Колко струва това? How much is this?
So you've had a wonderful day sightseeing and you've met the local person and then you enter a souvenir shop. But in the souvenir shop there is no price announced. Now, if that happens, you can ask, колко струва това? Колко струва това? How much is this? And again, they'll give you a number as an answer. So it's always handy and good to learn the Bulgarian numbers first.
Помощ. Помощ. Help.
If you need help, ask for it. You can say помощ. Помощ. Help. Yell it as loud as you can. Помощ. Помощ. It's a funny thing that we Bulgarians have been exposed so much to Western movies that almost everybody would know the English version of помощ, which is help. However, you will sound like a true Bulgarian if you learn помощ.
До скоро. До скоро. See you later.
We are almost towards the end. It seems proper that I give you 2 phrases of how to part with people. So bear with me. До скоро. До скоро means see you later.
Довиждане. Довиждане. Goodbye.
Another word would be довиждане. Довиждане. Goodbye. And don't be afraid to use the Italian ciao because it's so short and so easy and everybody uses it. And this is another foreign word that we have stolen and claimed in our Bulgarian language.
Не знам. Не знам. I don't know.
Не знам. Не знам. This is a way of saying I don't know. And in my personal opinion, this phrase can get you out of almost any situation. Whatever they ask you, you just say не знам, and you can add български at the end of that sentence. For example, не знам български. And that will be enough for the people to leave you alone. If you do know Bulgarian, which you do by watching BulgarianPod101.com, you can just say знам. I know български. Bulgarian. Знам български. I know Bulgarian. Great. Seems like we've reached the end of this episode of BulgarianPod101.com, and you now know the top 25 Bulgarian phrases everybody should know. Great! That's amazing. I'm proud of you. And by the way, for more Bulgarian, click subscribe here under this video. Leave me a comment about which of this you would say to a stranger. Or go to BulgarianPod101.com for more lessons in Bulgarian. I'm your host, Daria, and I can't wait until I meet you next time. Until then, do skoro!
You're about to have lunch in a local restaurant. What's included with the main course? What's included with the main course? The sign says, one drink and a dessert are included.
Включени са една напитка и десерт.
You're about to order your lunch and you're interested in the lunch menu. What does the lunch menu say? What does the lunch menu say? The lunch menu says that today's special is spicy chicken with grilled vegetables.
Специалитет на деня – пикантно пилешко, зеленчуци на скара.
There's a notice at the bottom of the lunch menu. What does the notice say? What does the notice say? The notice says there is an extra charge for alcoholic beverages.
Допълнително заплащане – алкохолни напитки.
You're finished with your meal and you're looking at the dessert menu. What kinds of drinks can you choose with the cake? What kinds of drinks can you choose with the cake? The menu shows that you can choose from coffee or tea.
Кафе, чай.
You just had lunch, paid and received your receipt. What is marked with a circle? What is marked with a circle? The circled parts of the receipt tell you the subtotal and the total.
Междинна сума, обща сума.
Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of BulgarianPod101.com, the best way to learn Bulgarian language, with your host here, Daria. Today, I'm eager to share with you 10 questions you should know. And why have I picked those? You'll see why. Here is some explanation at the end of every question and sample answer you're gonna get. So if you are ready to start, let's go! Как се казвате? Как се казвате? What's your name? Here is the first question. Как се казвате? Как се казвате? What's your name? Great. Pay attention that казвате is actually formal way to say, to ask for somebody's name. Казвате. The informal way and first person of the verb казвам се is казваш. Как се казваш? You can ask this to somebody you feel familiar with. How to reply? Very simple. Казвам се Дария. Казвам се Дария. My name is Daria. Very simple. And you can also say аз съм Дария. I am Daria. Various name. You can even forget the verb part and just reply with your name. As simple as that. Как сте? Как сте? How are you? The next question you should know actually logically follows the first one. Как сте? Как сте? How are you? Right after you ask for somebody's name, let's ask how do they feel? Again, with this one, remember that как сте is a formal way to ask a person. Or you can ask multiple persons, multiple people, personas. Okay, great. Как сте turns into как си. This is the informal way of asking how are you? And how do you reply? Here is a sample. Добре съм, благодаря. Добре съм, благодаря. I'm fine, thank you. It's a good thing to add the Благодаря at the end. It really gives a hint that you are a human being. I encourage you to use Благодаря as often as you can, because in my culture we don't get to use it a lot. Откъде си? Откъде си? Where are you from? Great! Now that you have found out what's the person's name and how do they feel, you can ask them. Откъде си? Откъде си? Where are you from? And a possible answer to this could be от София. От София. From Sofia. You can change the location and turn it into Plovdiv, Varna, Russe, Burgas, or whatever town you are from. But this is how you can ask a Bulgarian person. Откъде си? Where are you from? Кога е рожденият ти ден? Кога е рожденият ти ден? When is your birthday? Another question I really like to ask people because I'm so interested in astrology that I would like right away to know everybody's zodiac sign. Maybe that makes me a little bit prejudiced, but hey, I bond with some signs and some not, so I have to watch out for those people. So I will ask, кога е рожденият ти ден? Кога е рожденият ти ден? When is your birthday? It's a phrase that needs a little bit of practice because of a lot of de sounds, but you'll get to it very quickly, I am sure. And how do you reply to that? If you don't want to give away your birthday, you can just reply by giving your month of birth. For example, I'm born in February, so I would answer през февруари. През февруари. It's very similar to February. February. Just a little bit of a trick over there in pronunciation, but that means in February. And I indeed was born in February. This makes me an Aquarius.
Къде живееш? Къде живееш? Where do you live?
So, after you've learned the person's birthday, but before you ask them straight for their bank account number, you can ask them this. Къде живееш? Къде живееш? Where do you live? And, of course, they will try to get around the answer. So, you may get an answer like this. Живея с приятели. Живея с приятели. I live with friends. Of course, this means leave me alone and don't ask me any more questions, please. But hey, it's better to live with friends, by the way, than with your family. It shows up that you are taking responsibility for your adult life. So great that you're living with friends.
Къде работиш? Къде работиш? Where do you work?
One of the favorite questions somebody would ask you, of course, because they try, to figure out what social class you belong to or how much money you make. Of course, they would ask you this. Къде работиш? Къде работиш? Where do you work? To which you can, of course, create your own story if you don't like to deal with nosy people. But if you truly would like to answer honestly, tell wherever you work. But here is a way of saying it. В една туристическа агенция. В една туристическа агенция. I think you almost thought of what exactly this means in English, and it means in a travel agency, in a tourist agency. Yes. So if you work, for example, in a bank, you can say в една банка, or if you don't work at all, you can say I am a happy person.
Какъв е телефонният ти номер? Какъв е телефонният ти номер? What's your phone number?
Some people would like to know a lot of things about you, so they may ask you, какъв е телефонният ти номер? Какъв е телефонният ти номер? What's your phone number? Of course, if it's a very important business connection, you would give your phone number to this person that you're talking to. However, if it's just a random person who is trying to interfere in your life, this is how you reply. Предпочитам да не го давам на непознати. Предпочитам да не го давам на непознати. I prefer not giving it to strangers. I think that you would agree with me on this one.
Къде сте учили български език? Къде сте учили български език? Where did you learn Bulgarian?
Great, guys! So, you're in a party with Bulgarian people and you are impressing them with the Bulgarian language you've already learned, so it's natural that somebody should ask you, къде сте учили български език? Къде сте учили български език? Where have you learned Bulgarian? Great, so be prepared for this question. So when this question comes, here's how you answer. На летен лагер в Родопите. На летен лагер в Родопите. My favorite mountain, Родопи. This literally translates as in a summer camp in the Rodopi Mountains. Great! This is a good way to learn Bulgarian right over there. Another good way is to comment on this channel. I learned Bulgarian with BulgarianPod101.com. And if somebody asks you, къде сте учили български? You can say, BulgarianPod101.com, which literally is our name with the S in the front.
Харесвате ли българската кухня? Харесвате ли българската кухня? Do you like Bulgarian food?
And of course, a conversation with a Bulgarian person would not be complete without them asking you about our food. How do you find it? So, a Bulgarian person may ask you, харесвате ли българската кухня? Харесвате ли българската кухня? Do you like Bulgarian food? What do you think the answer should be? Please never tell a Bulgarian person you don't like the Bulgarian cuisine. Even if you don't like it, we take pride in everything that is Bulgarian for some reason. So also this is a very good shortcut to insult the Bulgarian. Tell them you don't like their food. However, for the purposes of making friendship, here is how you should answer the question. Абсолютно обожавам я. Абсолютно обожавам я. Definitely yes. I love it. You love it and they will love you for loving it.
Били ли сте в България? Били ли сте в България? Have you been to Bulgaria?
The next question may come into conversation if you are outside of Bulgaria, somewhere, and you meet Bulgarian people or anybody who would like to ask about our country. So the question would be, били ли сте в България? Били ли сте в Bulgaria? Have you been to Bulgaria? And in case this conversation is not happening in my country, you can reply, не, никога, но много бих искала. Не, никога, но много бих искала. This means no, never, but I would like to very much. However, pay attention that this phrase, много бих искала, I would like to very much, is only if you are a female saying it. If you are a male saying it, you should say, много бих искал. So there is just one letter difference, but it makes the whole change of gender over there. And so this is the end of today's episode of BulgarianPod101.com. You've learned 10 questions you should know in Bulgarian language. For more, go to BulgarianPod101.com and also subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with the next episode with your host, Daria. I love sharing all kind of facts with you about my country, sometimes with a little bit of
humor. I hope you don't mind that. And I will try to do that in the next episode. Until we see one another again, you can leave something in the comment section for me to read. Довиждане и Благодаря. Goodbye and thank you. Hi guys, how is it going? Welcome to another episode of BulgarianPod101.com with me, Daria, your host. Today I have prepared for you something very interesting because the topic of this lesson is 10 phrases you never want to hear. And even though you may not want to hear them, you will have to hear them now in this episode if you would like to learn how to speak a better Bulgarian language. It's not so bad, and most of them are universal. You don't want to hear them anywhere. Even if it's Australia or Burkina Faso, probably. So some of them, I'll give you some more insight about why it's good or not good to hear them in my home country, Bulgaria. So let's go.
Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Have you gained weight recently?
One of the worst phrases that nobody wants to hear is this. Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Не си ли качила малко килограми напоследък? Have you gained weight recently? Not a very good thing to hear, especially if you're a woman. That's why the sentence or the phrase has the feminine inclination in it. So, качила. You can also try to say to a guy, не си ли качил малко килограми напоследък? But I think for a guy, that's not the worst thing they never want to hear. Because guys, we women are a little more touchy about the subject of weight.
Имаш няколко бели косама. Имаш няколко бели косама. You have a gray hair.
Another phrase you may not want to hear, and then again, this is very subjective, and I'll tell you why, is this phrase. Имаш няколко бели косама. Имаш няколко бели косама. You have a gray hair. And pay attention then in the Bulgarian version of the sentence, the color of the hair is white. Beli kosama. And then it translates as gray hair in English, which is siv kosam, gray hair. But if you tell somebody, oh, you have white hair, имаш няколко бели косама, I've heard this reply and I love saying it back to people. Oh, it's okay that I have white hair. It's my transitioning into a white swan. So there you go again, subjective. It may be the worst thing you hear. It may be not so bad after all. Moving on to the next phrase.
Нали ти казах? Нали ти казах? I told you so.
The next phrase is нали ти казах? Нали ти казах? I told you so. Yes, in the egocentric society that we live nowadays, in the 21st century, this is a very common phrase. And of course, everybody likes to say it and nobody likes to hear it. So, it probably helps if you don't speak well Bulgarian that if somebody told you нали ти казах, you will just pass through your ear and go the other way. But you can use this phrase yourself if you want to tease somebody.
Уволнен си. Уволнен си. You are fired.
Again, a phrase you don't want to hear is уволнен си. Уволнен си. You are fired. Of course, if you love your job, that's the worst thing you want to hear. The last thing you want to hear is уволнен си. However, it may make somebody extremely happy that they're finally fired Because soon they'll be higher, that's what it's on my mind. When one door closes, another one opens, such as the blow of the universe.
Причината не е в теб, а в мен. Причината не е в теб, а в мен. It's not you, it's me.
Moving on to the next phrase that you don't want to hear. Причината не е в теб, а в мен. Причината не е в теб, а в мен. It's not you, it's me. What are your associations when you hear this, right? You never trust this sentence because it implies that it's actually you that have the fault. The fault is on you, the guilt. But you don't have to worry about hearing this in Bulgaria because nobody will say it this way. They will directly say, it's your fault. So it's you, it's not me.
Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Thank you for your resume. However, the position has been filled.
Let's say that you are looking for a job and you have found that pretty good position. It reflects everything you wanted. The work hours, the location of the job, the pay, everything is perfect and you have applied with your resume, but instead you hear this phrase. Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Благодарим за вашето резюме. Позицията обаче вече е заета. Thank you for your resume. The position, however, has been filled. Yes, that's definitely something you never want to hear if you are applying to your dream job. But then again, when one door closes, another one opens, and maybe there is something better around the corner even than your dream job.
Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. We should see other people as well.
The next phrase is something you never want to hear from your partner in life. Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. Трябва да се срещаме и с други хора. We should see other people as well. Which means that maybe your partner is not into you, or maybe they have changed their philosophy from a monogamous to a polygamous point of view. Hey, no judging here. Everybody's free to say what they want, but in case you are a monogamous type, this is the last thing you want to hear from your partner.
Не мога да ти върна парите днес. Не мога да ти върна парите днес. I don't have your money today.
If you had lent some money to somebody, this is definitely the phrase you don't want to hear from them. Не мога да ти върна парите днес. Не мога да ти върна парите днес. I don't have your money today. It's okay if you hear this phrase for the first time from your friend. Because you know what happens, they may have forgotten or they may be in a difficult situation, so today is not the day. However, if you hear this phrase, не мога да ти върна парите днес, for a fifth time within a couple of months, then you should start worrying. Because this friend may never pay you back, unfortunately. There are people like that, they just never pay back. Mm-hmm.
Трябва да поговорим за нещо. Трябва да поговорим за нещо. We need to talk.
Next comes a phrase that nobody wants to hear. And when they hear the phrase, people usually are so afraid, paralyzed, and full with anxiety that they
try to avoid the following event of the phrase. Here is the phrase. Трябва да поговорим за нещо. Трябва да поговорим за нещо. We need to talk. Now, even though this is a phrase that nobody wants to hear because they're afraid that something bad will be discussed, or this is the end of the relationship, or the school principal will tell the parents something bad about their son or daughter in school. Hey, hold on. It's not the end of the world. And it's actually better if we go on and discuss hard problems instead of just avoiding them. So no need to feel anxious or afraid when somebody tells you that. Just go for it and overcome it, like a true warrior.
Извинявай, забравих. Извинявай, забравих. Sorry, I forgot.
The next phrase is not as bad as the other phrases we've covered until now, but still, if it concerns your birthday and it's your best friend or your partner, it's kind of a bummer to hear it. Извинявай, забравих. Извинявай, забравих. Sorry, I forgot. Well, you can always count on your mom, by the way, that you'll never forget anything, especially your birthday. So there you go. You have one person who will never pronounce this. And here comes the end of this week's episode of BulgarianPod101.com. In this episode, we've covered 10 phrases you never want to hear. Maybe some of them are useful, maybe some of them are not. Please let me know what is the phrase that you never want to hear in the comment section below this video. For more episodes like this one, please click subscribe, but also visit BulgarianPod101.com for more lessons in Bulgarian. I am your host, Darya, and for me, it's a great pleasure to bring you these episodes. I hope you're having fun with me. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.